Howdy! As we continue to celebrate Women's History Month, this episode of From the Archives will take a look at one of our most dedicated volunteers, Jane Wyatt. Jane Wyatt, an actress best known for her portrayal of Margaret Anderson in the 1950s CBS TV series Father Knows Best, had an association with March of Dimes that spanned more than half a century.
My admiration for our next guest is only exceeded by my respect for her selfless efforts on behalf of the March of Dimes. Miss Jane Wyatt.
I want to take time out for a personal message. A message to the millions of men, women, and even little children who bear the pain of crippling arthritis. I'm speaking to their families, too. I want you to know that you have a friend that cares and is doing something to help. At hospitals and in research laboratories, your March of Dimes is at work for you.
In 1943, Jane Wyatt became development advisor and spokesperson for the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis after a southwestern tour for the March of Dimes January fundraising campaign. She then joined the Board of Trustees of the Los Angeles, California chapter and served for 4 years as the chapter's Mother's March chair, beginning in 1951. Mother's March was a door-to-door solicitation campaign that was extremely successful throughout the 1950s. Despite her busy personal life, she traveled constantly on behalf of March of Dimes, visiting hospitals to encourage young polio patients and their families in the era of the great polio epidemics. In 1961, 3 years after the foundation had changed its mission from polio to birth defects prevention, she became the second National Mother's March chairman from 1961 to 1971, succeeding actress Helen Hayes. In 1971, Miss Wyatt became the first national chairman of volunteer services, working closely with Elaine Whitelaw to support the efforts of local chapters in the fight against birth defects and infant mortality throughout the United States.
I'm Jane Wyatt with a chance to say thank you for your support of the March of Dimes. A chance to say thank you in the name of all the little boys and girls born imperfect whom your support has helped. With March of Dimes care, you give these youngsters a chance to walk, to play, to go to school, but so many more children wait for care that is still not available. All during January, and especially during the Mother's March on birth defects. Give till it feels good. Join the March of Dimes.
Miss Wyatt also lent her talents to a myriad of March of Dimes films and public service announcements. In 1974, she narrated a March of Dimes film called Exploring Inner Space.
And no one has been more a part of the basic structure of the March of Dimes, first as National Mother's March chairman, and now as the first woman on the Board of Trustees, than Jane Wyatt.
After the victory over polio, all of us in the March of Dimes were, of course, very proud. It was the first time a dreaded disease had ever been completely conquered, wiped out. It showed what we could do when the whole country gets together and works. But there were still millions of children in the world who couldn't walk, others who couldn't talk, couldn't hear, couldn't grow, couldn't learn, couldn't laugh. Our work wasn't done. It was just beginning.
Miss Wyatt again traveled extensively throughout the U.S. for March of Dimes, visiting local chapters, explaining March of Dimes programs to parents in birth defects treatment centers and clinics, and encouraging volunteers. She became the first female Board of Trustees member of the foundation in 1972, serving until 1984, at which time she became an honorary trustee through 2006. March of Dimes owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to Miss Wyatt, one that can never truly be repaid. Her support of the organization and dedication to the mission was unmatched. Thanks for watching this episode of From the Archives. I hope you learned something new about March of Dimes, and if there's something you'd like to know about our history, leave a comment in the chat below. So, until next time, thanks for watching.
The National Foundation March of Dimes. Growing, evolving, a structure built on love and concern, an organism growing in many directions, each part doing something different, but all working to build the future.